Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, settle in, and let's talk today about something that might explain a pattern you have been noticing in your own body for years. Have you ever woken at exactly the same hour in the middle of the night? Not once, but consistently over weeks or months? Or noticed that your energy follows a surprisingly predictable rhythm across the day, regardless of what you have eaten or how busy you are? A particular sharpness in the late morning, a slowdown in the early afternoon, a second wind as evening arrives. Most people attribute these patterns to random fluctuation or personal quirk. Traditional Chinese medicine offers a more structured and considerably more interesting explanation: the organ clock. The organ clock is one of the more elegant concepts within TCM and one of the most practically useful for understanding daily experience. The underlying principle is that qi, the vital life force that animates and regulates all functions of the body, does not move through the organ systems uniformly throughout the day. Instead, it flows in a continuous 24-hour cycle, spending approximately 2 hours in each major organ system before moving to the next. Each organ system therefore has a peak period, when the energy supporting its functions is most available, and an opposite low period, 12 hours later, when that same system is at its quietest and most vulnerable. When we live in reasonable alignment with this cycle, the body tends to function well. When we consistently work against it, eating at the wrong times, sleeping through the peak hours of cleansing and restoration, pushing through the body's natural slowdowns, the imbalance accumulates. The cycle begins in the early morning, between 5 and 7, with the large intestine. Physiologically and in the TCM framework, this is the body's natural time for release and elimination, for letting go of what was processed and no longer needed during the night. Traditional wellness practices across many cultures have encouraged rising early, drinking water on waking, and allowing a calm, unhurried start to the morning for exactly this reason. The body is completing its nighttime work and preparing for the day. Rushing this transition tends to carry the residue of the night into the morning in ways that are felt without always being identified. Between 7 and 9, the stomach receives its peak energy. This is the body's prime window for receiving nourishment, the period when the digestive system is most capable and most ready to extract energy from food. TCM has always emphasized the importance of a substantial, warm morning meal, and contemporary research on circadian biology has arrived at very similar conclusions. The body metabolizes food most efficiently in the morning, and eating the largest meal of the day at breakfast rather than dinner tends to support both energy and metabolic health more effectively. The mid-morning hours, from 9 to 11, belong to the spleen, which in the TCM framework is responsible for transforming food into usable qi and distributing that energy throughout the body. This is one of the reasons many people experience their sharpest cognitive focus between 9 and noon. The body is at the height of its energy generating and distributing capacity. The heart's peak arrives between 11 and 1, the middle of the day. In TCM, the heart governs not only circulation, but also joy, consciousness, and the quality of human connection. The traditional midday pause, shared with others, honored in cultures across the world before modern productivity culture dismantled it, maps precisely onto this window. The body and heart benefit from rest and genuine connection at midday, and the common experience of feeling more emotionally available and more socially energized around this time is consistent with the organ clock's description. The afternoon hours move through the small intestine, the bladder, and the kidneys, systems associated with sorting and filtering, with the conserving of vital resources, with the movement from the active yang energy of the day toward the more restorative yin energy of evening. Many people notice a genuine energy dip between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, which aligns with the bladder's low period and the body's natural beginning of its transition toward rest. Fighting this dip with caffeine or additional stimulation tends to disrupt the evening's natural wind down and the night's restorative quality. The hours that capture the most attention are the nighttime ones, particularly for people who wake consistently during specific windows. Between 1 and 3 in the morning, the liver is at its peak, working through its processes of detoxification, metabolic regulation, and in the TCM emotional framework, the processing of frustration, suppressed anger, and accumulated stress. Consistent waking in this window is understood in TCM as a possible signal that the liver is working under excess load, whether through actual toxins, through chronic stress, through suppressed emotions that have nowhere else to process. It is an invitation to examine what is being carried that the nighttime body is struggling to work through. Between 3 and 5, the lungs take their peak. The lungs, in TCM, are associated with grief, with the capacity to let go, with the breath that moves between taking in and releasing. Many people who have experienced significant loss or who are in periods of major life transition report waking consistently in these early hours. Whether or not the connection is literal, the symbolism carries something real. The breath itself is the body's most continuous demonstration of the principle that sustains all of life, the willingness to release what was just held completely to create the space for the next breath to arrive. The practical invitation of all of this is not to become anxious about every hour of your day or to interpret every sleepless night as a medical signal. It is simpler and more useful than that. The organ clock offers a framework for developing genuine awareness of the body's natural rhythms, for noticing the patterns that are already present and beginning to ask, with genuine curiosity rather than alarm, what they might be communicating. The body is always speaking. The language of timing, of recurring waking, of consistent energy peaks and troughs is one of the clearest dialects it uses. Learning to read it tends to produce, over time, a quality of relationship with your own body that makes genuine health considerably more accessible than it was before. As we close today, I want to leave you with one thing. Tonight, if you wake during the night and notice the hour, simply observe it without frustration. Ask, with genuine curiosity, what is happening in my life right now? What might my body be processing? What could use a little more attention, a little more care? The question itself is the beginning of listening, and listening is where the practice of this tradition always starts. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, be well.